The most devastating acts of cowardice against a people, against a people's psyche, committed as part of the process of colonization of the Lesser Antilles by the British and by other Europeans. Laws were enacted by the colonial rulers that completely and completed the decimation of the heritage and culture of a complete civilization that existed here on Urume or on St. Vincent. It completely decimated that civilization from the face of the land that had given it birth. Everything black Carib was frowned upon, discouraged, persecuted, and in some instances prosecuted by the British colonialists. And it worked. 220 years later, everything black Carib has disappeared from the face of its spiritual and native origin. St. Vincent and the Grenadines was unable to retain any semblance of that heritage that we know today as Garifuna. A heritage that is so proudly practiced and displayed across the Garifuna populations in Central America and North America following the exile. Today, we in St. Vincent now find ourselves having to look to the diaspora to assist in the repatriation of that culture that we have completely lost. And we are making progress. Slow, but nonetheless steady progress. On the so-called designated Garifuna communities, I beg your pardon, I skipped the page. It is against that background that the Garifuna Heritage Foundation was founded, against the background of the loss of the culture. In late January 2002, a Belizean national, Zoila Ellis, now known to us as Mrs. Zoila Ellis Brown, along with a few enthusiastic friends, founded the Garifuna Heritage Foundation with the expressed aim of educating and building awareness among the populace of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and continuing the existence of the black Carib culture and heritage, now known to us, of course, as Garifuna in Latin America, and the importance of us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines making that connection with the diaspora in an effort to retrieve and reclaim, to repatriate, and possibly to practice this heritage as an important aspect of the historical landscape of the nation we now know as St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So, what have this program of education and awareness been over the last 15 years? 1, exhibitions. Using the theme From Orinoco to Exile, every year since 2009, the Garifuna Heritage Foundation has staged this activity at the compound of the old public library. We have moved from the inside of the building to specially constructed huts on the grounds of those premises, where information is shared and artifacts are displayed that reflects the period of the theme from Orinoco to exile. Second activity, the gatherings. Using a selected theme in a given year, the gatherings were a coming together of the so-called designated Garifuna communities to share ideas and foster interaction between themselves, something that did not exist prior to 2006 when these activities first started. It has happened twice a year since the inauguration in 2006. That's two activities. 3, as an organization, the Garifuna Heritage Foundation has hosted a number of very important visitors, important in the world of the Garifuna, and who, when they come here, share many of the practices of the Garifuna. When in 2009 we had the homecoming organized by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we were able to host a number of Garifuna persons under the ambit of the Garifuna Coalition USA Incorporated. This is a combination of a number of Garifuna groups that exists in New York. And it might be informative to you to note that there is well over 120,000 Garifuna people living in New York. The figure, some people has estimated the figure at well over 200,000. So we have hosted that organization. We have also hosted the National Garifuna Folkloric Ballet of Honduras. And this is a group that has toured the world and have been able to present to Vincentians some of the lost cultural practices of the Garifuna nation. We have also hosted the National Garifuna Council of Belize and a second group from Honduras known as Odeco. Odeco is one of two very large Garifuna groups in Honduras that look after the interests of Garifuna people in that part of the world. And it has been established some years ago that Odeco is one of the largest social organizations throughout Latin America. So much for the progress of Garifuna people where they live. We have done and have hosted many other groups and institutions across the Garifuna diaspora as part of our continuing process to local and regional awareness of the existence of these people. We have also, among the local population, organized and executed short story competitions, art competitions, talent searches, poetry competitions. And in 2012, the foundation convened the first international Garifuna conference. And that conference mandated the Garifuna Heritage Foundation of St. Vincent to establish the IGRC. IGRC meaning the International Garifuna Research Center. And that center is to be housed right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And its functions include, among other things, to collect and disseminate all information gathered through research or any other means wherever it is done across the world. So for the close to 800,000 people that are Garifuna that live across the world, St. Vincent, the homeland, will become a repository for all of their efforts and their research and research by others, because one of the most sought after topic for research among many students, non-Garifuna students, is the issue of the survival and the continuing progress of Garifuna people. Some people are mystified that after Baliso, Garifuna have existed and have progressed so greatly. Following the 2012 conference, many researchers from many parts of the world came to St. Vincent and delivered papers. And 12 of the 17 papers that was delivered at that conference were later put together in a volume by the University of the West Indies in their journal, Caribbean Quarterly. And that journal is available. I think you could go to the UWI website and you would find out where that is available. And you can purchase a copy or acquire a copy of that journal by whatever means. We have hosted that conference since 2012 every year, except in 2014 after the Christmas Eve night rains. Let us simplify it and call it rains. We all know what happened on Christmas Eve night 2013 to St. Vincent and Grenadines. And we did not have a conference in March 2014 because we did not want to compete with the recovery effort that is taking place in the communities across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is the fourth conference, therefore, and we have adjusted from just the conference to calling our activity a summit. And the summit includes the conference along with other activities that I would outline to you as briefly as I can before I wrap up. Beginning yesterday, the first part of the summit, the 2017 summit, featured films made on the history and the culture of the Garifuna people. And there are hundreds of films and a few movies made across the world by persons who have researched Garifuna. Those films, about 3 of them, had been distributed to the secondary schools across St. Vincent, and throughout the course of this week, they will be showing to their students these films. There's also an open screening at the National Public Library that you can, well, actually today was the last of that screening, but on Thursday, you can come to the old public library that houses Alliance Française, and you would be able to see between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock a series featuring these films. We have this event this evening, the opening of the 4th International Garifuna Conference, and tomorrow, Wednesday, the conference and the working sessions of the conference opens at the Peace Memorial Hall from about 9 o'clock in the morning. So you are invited to attend the working sessions. One of the things that we have had to encounter over the years was the young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines telling us they cannot understand the Garifuna history because it is not presented to them in ways that they can easily assimilate. And so part of tomorrow's conference will feature a 2-hour workshop that will, for secondary and community college students mostly. And that workshop will hear from these students how they would like TGIF and other organizations that do things pertaining to the Garifuna heritage and culture. How could we package what we have to present to them for them to get an interest in this history? Because we all know that there is an underlying interest in Garifuna and the history of Garifuna, but many people would like it to come more to the fore. We are doing our part, and we hope others will take up part of the mantle and help to supplement what we are doing. On Thursday, well, also tomorrow, the Garifuna Village and Marketplace opens. The Marketplace is on Heritage Square from 9 o'clock in the morning, and the village would be on the compound of the old public library. And there we will construct as best we can images of what the Garifuna village looked like. And in those huts that will be there, we will have displays and exhibitions of artifacts and information pertaining to the Garifuna heritage and the Garifuna culture. And from 9 o'clock in the morning, feel free when you walk along Back Street to step onto the grounds of the old Carnegie building and see what we have and how you can educate yourself. On Thursday, the village continues, the marketplace continues, and on Friday, we have the school's Garifuna Folk Festival. This is where we ask our primary and secondary schools to take the Garifuna issue and create presentations around it for an audience at Victoria Park to enjoy. The last 2 school festivals were exceptionally well received, and we hope to raise the bar a little better and a little higher this time around. On Friday, we have at the Peace Memorial Hall a special treat. Coming out of New York is the Chief Chateauier, Chief Joseph Chateauier, Garifuna Ballet Company. This company is a world-renowned company, and they will be in St. Vincent to share with us in our celebrations of Heritage Month this culture that has been their lifeline for so many years, for over 220 years. They will be here in St. Vincent, and they would share with us at the Peace Memorial Hall in a 2-hour presentation. for you, the general public of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This presentation is free, so there is no excuse for you with perhaps transportation, but once you have transportation, come to Peace Memorial Hall and enjoy the Garifuna folk ballet out of New York. They will also make a small appearance tomorrow afternoon in the marketplace on Heritage Square, around maybe 11 o'clock, anytime between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. You can expect to come into the marketplace on Heritage Square and get a glimpse of the Chief Chatelier Garifuna heritage. Of course, you don't have Garifuna people coming into St. Vincent, and we do not celebrate Heritage Month without the pilgrimage to Baliso. That is on Sunday, and there are a few seats remaining, so you are invited to call the Garifuna Heritage Foundation's office and book your place. That is also free. And finally, as part of the our general involvement in Heritage Month, we will be part of the wreath laying ceremony at the obelisk at Dorsetshire Hill. The Garifuna heritage and culture is a very important part of Vincentian heritage and Vincentian history. Sometimes we forget that Garifuna, sometimes we forget our history taught us about Black Caribs. Garifuna, Black Caribs, same thing. And I invite you to encourage your friends and everyone you know to try to embrace this history, this heritage, and use it to propel ourselves forward in whatever way we can. Thanks for listening, and once again, thanks for